player's forces are under attack.
Okay. So, bottom left, we got Blue Night Elf, Meecro. He is going standard Demon Hunter.
A player's forces are
And at the top right, we see the same from our Red Night Elf, Alexchen. Standard Demon Hunter. Next, they will likely go to the Trolls, but because Meecro doesn't actually have something sitting here, we could see Alexchen go across. He does, however, decide to actually just take his Troll. It actually would have been really good for Alexchen to go across because Meecro had also chased after the Wisp too, rather than start the creep right away. But, you know, just playing safe and standard and just getting your own creeping done is also very good for Alexchen still. This, however, will be a somewhat annoying creepjack, but Alexchen is aware of it and will be able to escape fine. That ensnare is annoying. With nighttime hitting though, we should see it hidden in time.
A player's forces are under attack.
There is a Wisp here that will be used. And DH did get the XP. Also manages to get it right before the creeps started aggroing. Like literally, probably like a 1/10 of a second later, those creeps start getting spells off and the DH probably would have got a stone thrown at him. Yeah, Alexchen,
A player's forces are under attack.
seeking out this Wisp, will be able to kill it. Actually gets it before the detonate too. They are around equal XP, so no real advantage at this point. But if I had to say, I would say Meecro's slightly ahead. He did, after all, kill an archer. And steal a couple trolls. And both sides have now got Wisp kills. For Alexchen, I think if he had uprooting the tree sooner and just bringing it over would have helped him a lot here. He could have foregone creeping those two trolls and just gone straight to the merc camp. But now he's doing something very interesting actually. He's heading to the middle, but he's not level 3 yet. Meecro is also not level 3, but Meecro only needs to take one of these trolls to get level 3. So I would actually like him to potentially do that with his archers. Alexchen looking to steal or to take his shop. Definitely good to secure these shops when you can in Elfmere, because they can get you some pretty nice items, although sometimes you just get mana potions which generally just end up sold or used to essentially replace Moonwells by not having to use Moonwells on mana. I think I've even used a mana potion before on, like, you know, my DH, just so that my DH wasn't draining my wells as much. So I think it's not bad to keep it. Yeah, we see a keeper coming out from both sides. They are just continuing to creep, going for their merc camps. Meecro will have his merc camp done first. Gets a Sobi mask, which is definitely not great. You do want a bit of mana, but it's just much better to get something like an aura, like this one. You know, just Scourge Bone Chimes, no big deal. It's just Bone Chimes. Nothing to see there. Yeah, we do see him dust out the Sentry Ward Center.
player's
and he's
forces
looking
are
to
under
now get
attack.
his own shop. Alexchen still a bit busy here and probably won't be able to creep jacket. However, we might see a nice pull on the red camp now and entangle focus the ogre, which could be quite powerful for him. Let's see if he gets another good aura or not as well. It is scouted, however. It actually would be interesting if Meecro opted to detonate the entangle, but it looks like he's just going to let it finish. Yeah, he's a little weak with his DH. Did have an invuln though. Alexchen is managing it the rest of the creep though, and got the claws plus 12, which is okay, I guess. You know, generally prefer the auras, and I would prefer something like Helm of Valor over claws plus 12, but it might be better than some of the other stat items, I guess, because you don't really care too much about the intelligence stat items. And yeah, both sides just creeping a lot. Pretty passive game overall. There was that one instance with Meecro creepjacking the gold mine at the start, but otherwise just getting their own creeping done. I'm not sure exactly who's favored. I would say early game Meecro was ahead, but now I actually like Alexchen's creeps that he got. He got the red camp on the left fully. He still has his lab. I mean, Meecro crept his lab, but he didn't actually purchase a Zeppelin, so it's not huge at this point. And now Alexchen will be able to get some sort of creepjack here. However, it's likely just going to end up in a sort of stalemate. This is where a Zeppelin can actually be good too. Oh! Alexchen's going for it, and he might actually get it. Will we see an entangle on the D? We do not. He gets it. Claws plus 12 for Alexchen again. He does have his staff available, does use it, and we will see him just retreating here. Kind of wants to regroup, I'm sure, pass his items over. Probably will lose one archer, but otherwise he's in an okay spot. However, his bear count is a bit low here. We do see the keeper kind of out front tanking some hits. Meecro could get a nice mana burn on this keeper. Good dispel from Alexchen on that bear. Wand of the Wind used as well. Invuln probably going to be... Okay, he actually decides just to wait it out. And yeah, another bear gets staffed out, but extremely weak. And we really need these next bears for Alexchen. He does decide to TP out. He does have 2 rejuvenations available, I believe. Or no, one of the bears... I thought there was one bear closer to finishing. Okay, just 1 rejuve available. But yeah, good position here for Meecro in terms of like army strength. But Alexchen is about to get 2 more bears out. Pop a rejuve on his keeper or DH. Okay, he goes for the DH and then probably the other bear here. However, getting caught into this fight right away is not ideal for Alexchen. Will have to staff 1 bear immediately. Does get killed before the staff. And Meecro is just better set off for this fight. He has level 3. He has double heal scroll now as well. And Alexchen just not prepared and not having Moonwells ready. If he can somehow wait out until his next 2 bears come out, maybe Alexchen can fight this off. But otherwise, Meecro starting to take a commanding lead here. We do see Alexchen picking off 1 bear, but DH gets entangle focused. Manages to barely escape, but now he has no way to really get to his base unless he purchases a Zeppelin here, or positions his keeper for a staff here maybe. DH keeper here. Oh no, I think he needed to put his keeper up front. I think he tried to do what I was mentioning with the staff, but maybe just out of range. I'm not sure. It looks like that should be in range, but it didn't go off, so I don't know. And losing the DH, at this stage of the game, losing a level 4 DH is generally a death sentence. However, he is starting to get some pickoffs. Did Tavern rebuy his DH back? And Meecro's forces are quite weak here. Is he... Where did all his bears go in? Why does he not have more producing? Okay, one more coming in. Does get a rejuve off. No abolish coming out. Both demon hunters dropping low. And Alexchen manages to escape. Almost another entangle for Alexchen, and he does have an abolish here. Gets it off. There's no staff though, so the bear does die. But one bear for Meecro also going to fall. Very nice hold for Alexchen, and I don't know when Meecro fell so far behind in his units. I think it was when he decided to go for the tree and maybe upgrades or something. Let's see, like, what are the upgrades right now? 1-0. 1-0 for Alexchen and 1-1 maybe for... Yeah, 1-1 for Meecro. So maybe that extra armor upgrade as well as the 2 heal scrolls just kind of set his reinforcements behind, combined with the tree. And Alexchen's actually in a pretty good spot here. This expansion for Meecro can definitely be punished, because Alexchen's already ready to push. He should get... Okay, he has a second staff. I actually would like a second orb over this bear, even. Because the amount of damage his DH can do with a second orb is actually insane. But... I don't know. Maybe the bear is fine. I mean, of course the bear is decent too. Yeah, maybe in this low food, like still 50 food army, the bear might have slightly more value. The thing is, now he can't pick up the staff unless he like TP's home or staff's home, right? So that's awkward for him. Would really like to see some sort of pickoffs for Alexchen. Ideally, he actually creeps something and gets 5 because he's so close. Meecro not wanting to really fight, but he does have the levels. He has 5-4 now against 4-3. And I think for Alexchen, I think getting the Orb of Venom would have been the better call, and instead creeping like this orange for level 5 and maybe even level 4. And then by the time he's crept that, he could have the bear he made anyways. So we do see some splitting of his skeletons. Quite a few did get detonated though. Meecro actually goes for a mana burn on the bear rather than the DH. Maybe a misclick, not sure. But this fight is fairly even overall. We do see one bear pulled back. He will... Okay, he decides to roar rather than rejuve. Alexchen, quite weak. We'll have to TP here in just a sec. Has to be very careful. An entangle could come out. Okay. He gets his TP off. A bear dying for Meecro, and I think... There's actually 2 bears dying for Meecro, and he doesn't have an abolish for the other one. That's 3 bears down. The one thing Meecro does have going for him is his expo, but he doesn't actually have wisps to bring over to saturate it. Oh wait, he already had 3. I didn't see those on the way here. But still, not a very healthy count of wisps. He has 1 left on wood, which means he would still have to produce 2 more here, and then purchase a shredder. Whereas Alexchen's already ready. He's 50 food. He's got 5-4 now because of the kills he got in that fight. He's got Vampara. Still didn't get a second orb, surprisingly though. Definitely would have liked to have seen that. But I guess unit count also pretty important, especially with having Vamp Aura as well. Those bears get a lot of extra value when you just have more of them getting Vamp Aura. Awkward position for Alexchen. A couple of his bears getting focused down right away. And we see Meecro realizing he's behind and starts to focus the DH actually, but instant invuln. Yeah, Meecro's forces just way too weak at this point. He was in a good position at the start, but Alexchen with that insane hold, and Meecro just not being able to get enough units to fight off the oncoming attack afterwards. I think if so against Vamp Aura, probably Meecro should have done more of just not expanding and just continually produce units and end the game. Like, he was in a good position, he killed the DH, he drained the moon wells. So just continuing to put pressure may have been the better option rather than pulling back and expanding. Just lost too much momentum, and when the armies start to get back up there in the food counts, and primarily bears now that the archers have died, it really starts benefiting Alexchen because he did find that Vamp Aura. Yeah, disregarding the Vamp Aura, however, Alexchen did do a pretty good job of getting some high-profile creeps. He got both the red camp ogres, as well as finished the top left red camp fully. You know, overall the experience was fairly similar throughout the match, but getting those red camps is huge. That's 2 claws plus 12 that Alexchen ended up having over Meecro in the game. And as you can see, that damage really starts to add up in the long run. But yeah, on to game 2, we have Tide Hunters, which is a relatively new map. This is the common creep spot for Elf. And then oftentimes with like a keeper, you will go here next. But you might even be able to do that with a demon if you pull the camp with like a wisp. I'm not sure how much damage you would take, but if you pull it with a wisp, they do like stop their healing, so the camp should be a little bit faster. Otherwise, keeper, of course, really good for creeping that. And then sometimes you will see in other matchups like a tavern build on this camp instead.
A player's
Yeah,
forces
otherwise
are under attack.
this is just going to be standard. We have Demon Hunter from both sides, same camp prepped. And the interesting part will be to see where they go in the mid camp, because that is still very much up for question on this map. I haven't tested it out, but like I said, there could be a possibility where a pull with a wisp on here, and then like a Demon Hunter Archer could creep that. I'm not sure how efficient it would be, or if it's better to just... Or he's actually just going to creep it outright? Or is he going to the green? He's actually just going to creep it outright. I'm curious to see how well it goes, creeping it just like this. I think if you pull with a wisp, get rid of the healing bluegill, get rid of the slow from the snare caster, this would probably be even easier. And then after the pull, you bring the wisp right back in and plant this tree anyways. Yeah, we do see a deviation here now. Meecro going with what I think is the proper creep route if you're not pulling. And he's also fairly healthy, so he could harass if he scouts this. I can't recall if I saw a wisp or not. But Meecro is checking this side, so if he sees this side not crept, you can be fairly sure the gold mine was crept. Yeah, Alexchen did take a lot of damage. That's 2 moonwells completely drained already. And Meecro looking to snag the center. This camp does hit pretty hard though. He will need to start tanking sooner rather than later with his archers. Or just take the item and back off. Okay, he just took the item and backed off. Kind of prompted by Alexchen showing up. But yeah, you can't really kill these with low health DH because they actually have a spiked carapace type ability similar to Crypt Lord that returns damage to melee attackers. Meecro is pretty close to 3. Alexchen actually closer though and might actually get 3 off of this. He does get 3 before Meecro shows up, and now Meecro's kind of punished for his creeper out, to be honest. Really, Alexchen should be getting some burns off right away, even though his DH was weak, because of how crucial it is to get those burns as soon as you can when you have the level advantage like that. Those burns hurt. Yeah, we do see a fight coming out. Meecro has produced quite a lot of archers here. However, Alexchen also has pretty decent items on his DH, has the level advantage, got those mana burns off. I'm not sure if Meecro took note of the moonwells, but they were kind of low, so we could have actually seen him purchase Naga, purchase Staff of Telly. Naga goes back in. Demon heads this way, heals, and then Staff of Telly in. That actually could have been a pretty good play. He is still level 2 though, which is really awkward. So I'm not sure how good of a play it would have been, because you definitely want to reach level 3 before you actually fight. And it looks like that's what he's going to do, is take one of these green camps real quick, get level 3, and then put some pressure. I believe he's aware of the expansion, and that's likely why we see tier 2 and just lots of archers right now. He will be looking to put some pressure on.
The town is under siege.
And Alexchen, on the other hand, in a pretty good spot. He's got his lore coming out now. His mine's already been running. He has maybe 1 or 2 less archers, but he has a heal potion. And as long as he doesn't waste focus on these illusions, he should be fine. Demons both pretty weak. Alexchen will have to TP out here. Staff coming out on Meecro's DH. No Staff of Telly though, so if Alexchen can get back here quick enough, this Naga is kind of in a bad position actually. Ooh, Alexchen doesn't really have much healing though. So yeah, this is the lack of moonwells. Because he took so much damage creeping this in the early game. Just not having moonwells at this point. Ooh, and kind of wasted a mana burn there. I think he kind of forgot that those were just illusions. Yeah, mana burn's coming on Alexchen's Naga. And Meecro looking in a good position now. Thought Alexchen might be able to hold this better, but without his moonwells, his army's just not strong enough anymore. Too many archers here. It's all going to be up to shop usage for Alexchen. However, I'm not sure how well he can even back out to a shop at this point. Does get his Naga picked off from the last hits coming out.
A town is under siege.
Now he just has a DH. Starting to make dryads. They won't be that great against this mass of archers. Might have even been better just to go with MGs, even though they don't have hardened skin yet. We see tier 3 and 1 lore coming out for Meecro in the meantime. Wisp's starting to get focused now. And this mine is starting to not really earn income anymore. Yeah, having a couple dryads definitely good. But you do need to be very careful because of how fast they can die to these archers. We do see one dryad dying right away. Staff getting past. Likely stab out in just a second. Does, but another dryad getting focused down and dies. Naga the next focus target. DH staff from Meecro as well. Archers now kind of just hung out to dry. Do we have... Oh, we do have our DH coming back in. Oh, I didn't even see... He turned that so fast on the Naga. Meecro just kept his Naga too close for too long. Ends up losing his Naga. I honestly did not think Hero would just die that fast. I was looking to see how close the Demon Hunter would. Yeah, Demon Hunter is back. And we actually see a second shop, likely so he can purchase more potions. However, his mine is still not running fully. But with this tower here, that is going to deter Meecro a lot. You really don't want to be tanking these hits, especially with your own DH this low. His own Moonwell's fairly dry. He does have one heal potion. But Alexchen with the second shop and more heal potions, his own DH has started to get quite healthy here. And Meecro is going to have to transition into some sort of tier 3. However, I am not sure how well he'll be able to do that at this point. Alexchen is still tier 2 though. And his gold mine is only just starting to fully run again. Tree still weak, will take some repairing. Match is definitely still up for grabs. It just depends how quickly Meecro can really get these bears online. And he's going to need them for his DH to rejuvenate too. Yeah, Alexchen doing a good job getting some creeping done here. Near his expansion in case there's another push coming. I'm not sure where Alexchen goes from this point afterwards though. He would likely want to go here, but he hasn't uprooted his AOW. I think he kind of forgot about uprooting the AOW because of having to need extra archers against the push. But at this point, he really needs to start moving it to here or to here. Because you don't really want to creep these two camps without an Ancient War. Especially when you don't have bears to rejuvenate after. Tier 3 is on the way. We do see bears starting to pump out. 2 more Moonwells. Pretty decent items. He did get a greater healing. But this tree could die pretty quickly. Meecro did also manage to get level 3 on his Naga, which is quite huge. And there's 2 bears plowing away. There isn't Roar, however, which is makes quite a big difference. However, we do see a Roar now. Do need one of these Wisps to detonate that. You really don't want marksmanship archers to have Roar in the back line. Alexchen not getting the detonate off, but he does have some rejuvenates coming out, which will help a lot, and his own Roar. His archer's doing a little bit less damage. His DH dropping low. He has greater healing though. Probably better, yeah, just attack. Greater healing is forced. And now the DH is dropping low again. This is a lot of damage from the Roar. Staff still on cooldown. DH goes down. And Meecro does manage to get his timing. He reached Orb of Venom. He reached Marksmanship. And he had, what is it, Mark of the Claw, so that you can cast some Roar while in bear form. And his archer is just doing a lot at this point. 25 to 27 damage. with the roar active versus 20 to 22. And that damage really adds up. Alexchen trying to hold on here. Does still have his expansion mining, only with 3 wisps however. And still only level 2 Naga against a level 3, almost 4 Naga. And this altar's dying quickly. I don't think he'll be able to save this like it's going. He will probably have to Tavern Rebuy. Rejuve coming off. Nice detonate coming out though. Yeah, Alexchen trying to put in some damage. Still does not have his DH here. But his damage is definitely okay. He does have Moonwell access. Very good staff usage. See if he can find time to start the rejuve on that bear. And if he can push Meecro back long enough to Tavern Rebuy and get his DH back in fighting. Oh, I gotta kind of watch this. Okay, Meecro does realize, pulls his DH back. Meanwhile, his main force here also getting tracked down. Rejuve does come out, but instantly detonated. Meecro's DH in an awkward spot. Does have staff still, though. Can Alexchen save his own Naga, however? Does use a potion. Focus fire coming out on it. 2 bears. Frost arrow. We still have this 1 bear with a Rejuve available if it can get him unmorphed. Yeah, Alexchen does get his DH back here. However, his Naga did fall. Meecro staffed out his own DH and should have it healed by Moonwells. He does. And once this DH arrives back in the fight, we should see Meecro starting to really push in strong here. There is double shops. There is not much Moonwells though. And there are more bears coming out. Alexchen can still hold this, honestly, because half his army is archers, and if he can get some of these bears to attack those archers, Meecro really only will have his heroes left. And Alexchen, with his expansion, can just keep chugging potions from his double shops. We do see some focus starting to come on those archers finally. 1 archer just about to drop. However, 2 more bears also arrived for Meecro, so looking a little awkward for Alexchen. Does not get the staff off in time, but another archer going down. Yeah, if he can hide by these trees, get his rejuve off. Maybe a roar. Oof. Yeah, 1 bear did not get a morph in time. And if it's still looking rough for Alexchen. Maybe he can turn it around. He does have his Naga here again with the orb. But if Meecro keeps having his bear count continually rising, it could be rough for Alexchen to fight this off. It is starting to stagnate now. Meecro has reached his food cap. Alexchen continuing to chug potions and run around, getting damage in with his orb on the Naga in the meantime. Still not level 3 on this Naga though. Is managing to finally pick off some of these archers. Yeah, this bear force looking a little too beefy now. And Alexchen's bears are on a long journey mission into the wrong base. He really wants that kill. Really wants that XP. Maybe looking to get level 5 DH. But Meecro's even closer to level 5 DH. And Alexchen calls the GG. We have a 1-1 series here. Man, that had some tense moments. There was some really close instances where Alexchen almost managed to stabilize. However, Meecro ended up getting just enough extra damage on his units, having marksmanship and roar coming out, and his bears. And then later, just reinforcement bears continually coming in. And he manages to just keep too much pressure on Alexchen and gets the win. Tied series 1-1. And the third map we see is going to be Amazonia. Definitely one of the more snowbally maps in Elfmere. So, got to keep a close eye on how well their early game is. We see a defensive Ancient War from our yellow Night Elf, Alexchen, which will generally be slower than our purple Night Elf Meecro's Ancient War. So this could favor Meecro right away. If, depending how well they do the camps. But generally this sort of Ancient War position can creep the camps much quicker while transitioning to the second green camp quicker, thus allowing Meecro to also reach the troll camp sooner. So it'll be on Alexchen to get a very nice pull and then lightning shield onto these creeps and try to snipe the bandit as soon as possible. He might even forego the bandit at the start just to keep up. Yeah, it's looking standard build from both sides. We see the second Moonwell from both sides.
A player's forces are under
Meecro's
attack.
archer a little mispositioned. Okay, he finally gets it in position. Lightning shield coming out. You should start putting some damage on these bandits. You don't really want to get the wizard that low that quick. It's better to distribute more damage at the start so that you can keep the lightning shield on for longer. Yeah, overall, actually pretty even. So Alexchen did do a good job with his pull in the meantime, and they are roughly equivalent. Meecro's very slightly ahead, like 1.5 attacks faster. Both just taking the bandit and then moving on. Alexchen will be able to creep the camp quicker, as Meecro is going for the wisp.
A player's forces are under attack.
And he does actually go for the camp rather than trying to creep jack. Not the greatest item there, but he does have claws and slippers, which will help a lot. Meecro, on the other hand, ring and cloak. I think on here you really want to start with actually... Oh, and another cloak. You really want to start with like claw, slipper, or circlet, because you want this creeping at the start to be fast. Yeah, Alexchen doing a good job here. Finds 2 Moonwells building, cancels both, and gets out pretty scot-free. Or you should be able to get out scot-free in the end. They'll exchange some mana burns here. And Alexchen is slightly ahead on the mana burn. And Meecro's Moonwells are dry. This is really good for our yellow Night Elf. This could prompt him to potentially do some sort of tier 2 push. He buys a circlet and dust. I do think circlet can be pretty good here. I wouldn't have minded him selling the mantle as well, simply because if he does creep anything at this point, he's going to need the inventory space. So I think selling the mantle would have been a good call. However, creeping this followed by like this, I guess technically doesn't drop an item. And then this, the remaining 2 wizards there. Yeah, Meecro kind of wandering around right now. His Moonwells Did finally get the other ones up, but 2 Moonwells quite dry at this moment. Int Tome, Cloak, Ring, let's go. To be fair, Ring's not terrible, but I think on this map you really want that extra speed from having more damage. Because falling behind on this map is oftentimes a death sentence. Alexchen looking for the creep jack, sees that Meecro's not here, and opts to be aggressive. And this is probably the right call, knowing that Meecro's Moonwells were low.
Forces are under attack.
However, Meecro has picked up his Naga, sitting pretty healthy, and their unit counts are fairly even. 1 archer getting focused at the start. This should actually be a fairly even-ish fight, but Meecro's in his base, so this will probably go in Meecro's favor in the long run. Yeah, Alexchen immediately decides to get out. Actually gets a hide off, and there's no reveal yet. Dust picked up.
A player's forces are under attack.
And he is in position for this. Will Meecro creep check though? He decides to creep his own, and I think he decided to creep his own only because the Ancient War was already taking damage. Likely had walked it too close already and got forced into it. However, if that had not happened, there was a real possibility Meecro marches across to creep jack, and that could have been strong as well. Because this camp is very likely to be Alexchen's choice. We do see some awkward experience counts here though, 2.9 and 1.9 for our Yellow Night Elf Alexchen. Meecro on the other hand did reach level 3. However, his demon took a lot of damage because he had to switch aggro from the Ancient War. And so he can't reach this fast enough, and Alexchen will reach level 3 in time and pick up the items. Likely going to just get a mana burn and disengage, unless he gets perma-bashed here. Oh no, Alexchen. Okay, we do have a Dryad. Still see some slow coming out. Alexchen having to back out. Dryad taking quite a bit of damage. Definitely not ideal. And 1 archer will get picked off as well. But there's a bit more Moonwells to work with here compared to Meecro's side. Does have 1 Moonwell quite full now though. And now Alexchen's quite dry on the Moonwells. But bears are coming out. He should have Adept just about finished for Rejuve. And Meecro has no lore units yet. So a bit behind in his tech compared to Alexchen, or his tech units I should say, or yeah, his tech and tech units. So Alexchen does have the lead here. He didn't buy the staff though, which honestly hurts a bit. I think you would like to staff the Demon Hunter here, pick up your orb, and get ready for the soon 50 food bear fight. Loses his AOW, got a little too aggressive here with it. Yeah, both sides just getting some creeping done. And we see Quell the Loss for Alexchen. Definitely a good pickup. And a +2 Agitome. I mean, why not, right? I mean, why not? I've already played both these guys in the earlier weeks for this group stage. Yeah, Alexchen looking to be aggressive here. Not sure if it's the right call. He does have bears now. He is at 50 food. So probably a decent timing. However, his Naga is still not 3. But Meecro's Naga is also only level 2. So this is fine. He actually picked off a Moonwell. And Meecro's Master Bears are a little delayed. However, it is 5 bears versus 4 bears currently, with a 5th on the way still. So Alexchen could turn around here, but needs to get to that point. Does lose or sacrifices an archer. And with a TP still on Alexchen, I wouldn't mind him just starting to go straight up here. But maybe he'll just creep his shop first. And then use this as a scout to creep Jack. One little level 3 kobold left. Meecro really needs to get the XP from the merc camp at the top left. However, we will likely see him forced into a TP as Alexchen will have it scouted, has the level 3 Naga, and already finished his camp. So yeah, this will most certainly be a forced TP here. Meecro cannot take this fight. He might even lose his Naga. He can't even pick up the item. Oh no, he has to drop another item. He's gonna lose a bear in the meantime too because he's taking too long. He loses a ring, he loses the tome, he loses an archer. Did not get level 3 on his own Naga. And that creepjack was huge. It was a nice play by Alexchen to first go for the shop while having a scout here for when Meecro goes for the merc camp. And now he can fairly safely take this granite golem. He is opting to just go for it straight away, eat the clap damage, rather than like trying to pull it and like surround it here. So he does eat a couple claps, but with a few rejuvenations available, should be okay. I'm actually not sure. I feel like I would maybe prefer the ring over gloves in this matchup. Like, oh. Alexchen, don't lose track of your bears, bro. Yeah, we see a commanding lead for Alexchen here. He's got food advantage by like 8 food. He has War Song. He has 4-3 against 3-2. And Meecro just can't fight this. He fell way too far behind after that creepjack. And he just fell too far behind in experience with Alexchen taking the bottom right merc camp, the left red camp, and finishing the remnants
forces are under attack
of the top left merc camp as well. But yeah, for Meecro at this point, getting level 3 Naga is actually virtually impossible because there's no way Alexchen's just going to let him creep the granite golem. And I don't think these 2 little wizards or the 2 trolls are realistic to go for. So very rough for our purple night elf, still sitting at 50 food. He has 2-1 upgrades against 1-1, so there is the upgrade advantage. However, no TP. Alexchen with great items, a lot of damage, even illusions. And honestly, even if Alexchen loses his Demon Hunter here, he's probably still in a great position. There's just too much food, and Meecro still hasn't broke. He's sitting at 48 out of 60 with 900 gold. We are going to have to see like 4 Wisp Detonates at least from Meecro, especially with Wand of Illusion. They are a little bit slow. He will lose 1 bear before the Detonates really start coming out. You see this 1 bear about to drop. Dryad gets staffed out. Another bear getting close to drop, and the Demon Hunter stuck here. He got Healing Scrolled. There's just no way out for him. Okay, does get staffed out now, but there goes his army. And Alexchen's done it. He just has an overwhelming bear count. There's no way for Meecro to fight this off at this point. level 5 demon, Meecro's DH falls, and a pretty big win coming out here for Alexchen. Wow. I mean, honestly, that game. Oof, I'm trying to like process all that happened in it. But yeah, I think it all started with the first few items giving Alexchen a little bit more damage. He had what, slippers, claws, mantle, and that extra damage. He utilized it well by, after finishing the troll camp, headed straight over, canceled 2 moonwells from Meecro's side, and disengaged properly while also draining Meecro's 2 remaining wells too. That was pretty huge. Had a good timing on his later attack as well.